So we're here to talk about one of the big problems that RVers have. Whether you're full-timing or camping, this may happen to you. And it's pretty disturbing. We're here to talk about ants.
Yep, ants.
Ants. And
they're lovely outside, but they're not in your RV.
They're great. We love what ants do for our environment. I don't like them in my house. I don't like them in my kitchen, and I especially do not like them in my bed.
So we collected ants.
Two places. Two RV parks.
The first place we stayed at, we collected ants. Where was that at? Was that at?
The one in Utah, we collected black ants. And then we thought we got rid of them. There was just a few that were like kind of scattered here and there while we were at Lake Powell.
As we were traveling, we thought we got rid of.
Yeah, like Jeff found a whole bunch and we thought we got rid of them, but we didn't. Because when we ran a load of laundry, I pulled out one of our bath towels and there was like a graveyard massacre of ants all over the towel. And I was like, this is your towel, Jeff. Here you go.
And I was like, it looked like pepper all over the place. And I found them in the underbelly where the valves are. It was just a ginormous mess of ants. We thought we had got rid of them, but they made a home down there apparently inside of our
washer. Yeah, probably for the water source is what I'm guessing. But we thought we got rid of them when we left. Like we were like, oh, we'll separate them from the queen and it'll be good. No, I'm wondering if the queen just came and moved in. So then they kind of scampered off and we didn't really see a whole lot, so we thought they had disappeared. But then we went to Hungtington Beach and we were staying at the Waterfront RV park. And next thing you know, we collected a brownish red ant. And now I know that brown and black ants don't, like, you can't have two separate ants together because they'll have a war. But for some reason, our black ants stayed in our bedroom on one side and then the brown ants took over the entire house. We had them everywhere, in our kitchen, in the kids' beds, in our bed, in the washing machine, up along the walls. They were coming in through our front door.
So they weren't fighting, they were coexisting.
Yeah.
One had one side of the RV, the other had the other side of the RV, and they were
like, but they never mixed, like, ever. So anyway, this is what we did to try and get rid of them.
So here's the Toro ant bait stuff. This particular one comes in like a small little case. So what I did was I created these traps here. You see that in the corner there, and then placed them with the lines of the ants. You can see how the line goes right there and not up against the thing. I want them to try and move the line and go out the door. And you see where you want to put the bait traps where the line is, where the ants are crawling, so that they'll be interested in getting into that trap and eating the bait. Here they're going across the wall here. That would be a good place to put the trap if you wanted to put one.
It's because they're coming in from the front door.
They're coming in from the front door. And then there was another line here. I kind of dripped some of the bait here and then put the trap on the thing there, but I don't know if they ended up going into that. Okay, and then that yellow stuff there on the floor is cornmeal. Yeah. And that didn't really work. We thought it was going to work. We thought, hey, this is like bait. It kills them. No, it didn't really do anything. You can see how they're just coming into our bedroom.
Well, that's because we dripped a little bit of that bait.
Right, you can see right there where I put some bait down, and they love that stuff. See how they're all collected right there at the bottom, the black trim there. There's bait right there. So they're all crazy right there.
Yeah, the liquid bait.
This is another bait trap. You can see, like, inside this bait trap, there's a ton of them in there. And they'll either drown or they'll come grab the bait and leave and go back to their, in theory, go back to their home.
Did it work? Let's find out. But before we tell you whether or not that worked, let us tell you about a story. One night while we had the ants, I do like to have my snacks after the kids go to bed. And I have a vice for salt and vinegar chips, and we actually had to have them. I don't buy them very often.
We had ants still. So
yeah, we had ants.
I was telling her, don't eat in my bedroom. We're going to have ants.
I didn't listen to him because I just wanted to watch my show and eat in the bed. And
the ants didn't end up on her side where she was eating. They ended up on my side, underneath my pillow, all over my side of the bed.
He comes in, he's like freaking out. I hear him yelling in the back bedroom. He's like, Candace, get in here. And I'm thinking, what?
I was like, man, I'm going to be sleeping with the ants. Why don't I just go outside?
So the funny thing is I thought I was really careful with the bag. Like, I thought I was really careful the way I was eating them. Apparently not. So apparently all the crumbs had like migrated to his side of the bed and his side of the pillow.
My pillow.
And so I go in there and this is what I find. There are ants everywhere.
This is what I have to sleep with.
These are the black ants. And he comes in and like literally they were inside of the pillowcase. And I'm like, how did the crumbs get inside of your pillowcase? But they did.
I think they were safe.
Anyway, he was so mad. Anyway, so I was like, I got this covered. I'm just going to vacuum these up. And so I took the whole vacuum and I just sucked them up through the pillow. And he was like, this is never going to work. I even vacuumed the walls where we had all the trails of the ants going. But that was fun. Anyways, that was our story. Needless to say, eating in bed when you have ants, probably not a good idea unless you want to sleep with the crawly things.
No, I don't mind that she sleeps with them, but I don't want to.
It was quite comical. This is after I vacuumed and I came in here and I emptied it out into this container and it literally looks like the cornmeal mixed with black pepper, except the pepper is moving. Super creepy. Anyways, that's how many I collected from my bed.
Looks like we're creating a meal. So we're making a meal with dust, cornmeal, and pepper.
With moving pepper, no less. Autumn is interested. She's going to come see what's going on. Mom, this looks yummy. I don't know, but there's moving pieces in it.
I'm going to put my finger on it, and then one crawled up her arm, and Daddy, look, I got a ant on my finger. Look,
going up her arm.
Daddy, why is the pepper going up my arm here?
Squish. Anyway, so that was interesting. Another way, I just decided I didn't want to leave them outside, so I poured vinegar on them. I know that probably burned them, but I didn't want them coming back in, so I killed them with vinegar.
So Candace is trying to be humane by sucking them into a vacuum and putting vinegar on them. And I'm thinking, what a horrible death. She wouldn't just let me smash them all. She wanted to drown them in vinegar, suck them through a vacuum cleaner, and she thought that would be better than me smashing them all.
Oh, did the bait traps work? That's the big question.
I feel like they did. I feel like they didn't get rid of the ants really quickly.
No.
But I think they took the bait back to their home and then died.
So it wasn't working. After a couple of days, I'm like, these things are still coming in. There's not even a sign that they're dissipating. Yeah, sure, there's a bunch of dead ones in the sconce and a couple dead ones on the floor, but these things are still everywhere after 3 days. So we were actually headed to Disneyland and I was like, I can't handle this anymore. And the night before I called my older sister and she was like, you know what I use? She's like, I guess she lives in New York City and she goes, sometimes she gets ants in her new place if she moves around and they come in through a window. So she always takes ground cinnamon, just cinnamon, and she sprinkles all over the windows or whatever. And I was like, oh,
entrance, yeah.
Funny
anywhere
thing.
They can enter.
Anywhere they can enter, yeah. So apparently they don't like the cinnamon. I don't know why. That's what she said. So I was telling my kids and my kids were like, yeah, Mom, we told you that. We watched one of our shows and they said that. And I was like, I didn't listen to them, I guess. Anyways, here's a natural remedy for you and it works. So that morning I was like, that's it. I'm done with this bait. It's clearly not getting rid of them fast enough and I'm tired of having them. They were literally in my pantry because they were trying to get rid of everything. Oh, and the funny thing is while we were there, I didn't realize this, but one of my syrup, I use like a real maple syrup, and one of the caps, I guess, didn't get shut. And so one morning I'm out there pouring, so I don't use brown sugar on my oatmeal. I pour real maple syrup in to flavor our kids' oatmeal, and I start pouring a little bit, and all these little brown pepper flakes, not moving, all over. And I was like, what is this? It was ants. They had literally gone into the syrup, and when I started pouring out the rest, it was just like a bowl full of syrup with dead ants all over in it. So that's how bad it got, and that's how quickly it got bad.
I just pretended it was pepper seasoning and just ate it.
No, I actually started, this is bad. So when we were at Lake Powell, this is when that happened, and Jeff was gone at work, and I was like, well, I'm not taking my kids all the way, and I'm running low on food, so I literally, okay, this is gross, but I did do it. I took a sieve, and I started sieving, like pouring the syrup through it so that the ants would stay in there, and I just had the kids use the syrup. Anyways, we're still alive. It's been like, you know, a month or so later, so we're still alive, so I guess it wasn't that bad. But anyway, I did use that, but I threw the rest out after that, and we went and bought new stuff. Okay, so did the cinnamon work? That morning we woke up, I was done, I was fed up with it, and I said, Jeff, I'm not doing this, and I grabbed what was left.
Crazy.
I went crazy. I grabbed what was left of the cinnamon, and I poured it everywhere, all over the door. Like, it was like somebody had come in and just taken like a big sand pit of cinnamon and thrown it all over in the RV floor.
The entrance.
And it was like super early in the morning because we were on our way to Disneyland.
The nice thing is it smells like Christmas.
That's true.
If you like the smell of cinnamon,
you would have loved this.
You would love this remedy.
But I did a good.
Every time we walked into the door, you could get a whiff of cinnamon. And there were no ants.
Yeah, so this is how we know the cinnamon works. I poured it out that morning right before we went to Disneyland, and I said, Jeff, if it works, we're going to come back and there'll be no ants. I don't know. So we poured all the cinnamon all over like that, and then we came home from Disneyland that night. It was like midnight, so it had been at least 14 or 15 hours. There was not an ant in sight. Nowhere. Not on our walls, not in our beds, not in the bathroom, not on the floor. If you had to say there was like 500 ants in our house, let's just throw a number out there, there was probably like 2 ants left. Like, that's the difference it was in literally one day. So, what's our solution? Cinnamon.
Cinnamon.
Buy cinnamon. More than you would buy the traps.
If you've got more than one entrance, it may be a little bit difficult because you've got to put.
So find out where they're coming in from.
Find all the entrances, because it's possible that they would move and get to a different spot to climb up where the cinnamon isn't. But the cinnamon, they do not like it.
It was amazing. It was like night and day difference.
Yeah,
so
they stay away.
Here's our tips for you. 1, if you have the ants, you buy the cinnamon and just start. 1, you need to look and find out where they're coming in from, first off. Other than that, just put them everywhere then. 2, get the cinnamon and start putting it out, and they will disappear.
They can crawl up your stabilizers. They can crawl up your water lines. I mean,
yeah, so you want to find out where they're coming in from.
Put it, obviously put it at the base of where they're coming, and they'll stay away. They will not come.
Yeah, besides, it's cheaper anyways. And it's really easy to clean up, so you don't have to have steel wool to clean it up, just a quick vacuum. You don't have to worry
about if you have dogs or babies.
Yeah, that's the other thing. We have babies the next couple of days because I didn't want to clean it up right away. I wanted to make sure those things stayed away. I started putting it down on the floor where our stairs were too, just to make sure they didn't even try to come up. But then we had our kids and they had to like jump over the step to get in because I was like, don't mess up the cinnamon line. It was like that, yeah.
I don't think it needs to be a line. I think they don't like the smell. They'll stay away from it.
Yeah, but anyway, I didn't take any chances. I was fed up. I'd lived with ants for like a month. I was done.
So, yeah.
Black and brown. Anyway, they haven't come back, and we haven't gone anywhere else that we've had any ants. But if they did, I went out and bought a huge tub of cinnamon, and I have some on hand now just for that purpose.
There's your witchcraft.
Yeah.
Line your
army. Yeah, instead of a circle of salt, you just line the circle with cinnamon.
Line the perimeter with cinnamon, and then do your witchcraft on it.